Evening all, welcome to Kick and Dust. Right, today we're going to show a bit of a return to the scout suit. And maybe let's just address some of the other things that are going on. Now, interestingly enough, I've got to admit, I've actually been using the scout suit a bit more lately, and I suck less at it. It's funny, when anything changes in this game, it is usually a case of figuring out what on earth has changed, how it's changed, and etc. And I think it's kind of interesting because what I'm finding at the moment certainly is that things like aim assist are not terribly bad, evil, machinations of Hitler. They are actually quite, unfortunately, integral parts of the game. So my rejection and reaction to them, I think, is what's caused maybe the issue a lot of the time. So, for example, what you've seen in a lot of the gameplay lately is the kind of dominance of ARs. You've seen a lot of armor tanking damage mod fits. Now, those fits generally only work because most of those people are using the controller and aim assist, because what you'll find is that if you're generally using mouse and keyboard, you're actually missing 50% of the time. And 50% could be 70%, it could be 30%, but the reality is you're missing at some point. Because when you use the controller, like for example, as you saw there, that little shotgun interaction, as you can see, this is mouse and keyboard entirely. And what's interesting is when you use the controller immediately will draw you so that every single shot is hitting your customer, let's say. And particularly with high rate of fire weapons like the scrambler rifle, the assault rifle, and so on, generally those kind of guns, is you're getting the most benefit from aim assist. So I think, I know that's kind of an obvious one. A lot of you are going, well, duh, but to me, that was actually quite a big revelation that the kind of challenge, I think, is how to overcome that very, very prevalent mechanic. So let's just that's the framework of the discussion today. So, aim assist exists, high damage and high rate of fire, accurate and, assisted guns exist. So why am I using the scout suit again? Well, it's funny because not particularly this scout suit, because I'm still speed tanking with this one, but what I've found is that you can sort of get your scout suit to have a benefit with certain environmental conditions. Now, this takes a bit of practice. It takes a hell of a lot of kind of awareness. But let me explain how I'm actually doing relatively okay with the scout suit now. You brick tank it, which sucks. But unfortunately, if you put about 600 hit points on a scout suit, that's pretty much what you need. And that could be shield and armor and whatever. And what you then have to do is you have to have a very almost keen awareness of who's in the map with you. So let me give you an example. There's a very, very good player in the game from what the French group called doesnt, a formidably good player. And I give him full respect, incredibly capable guy. Now, what I would say is, if you know that he is in the game, or rather, if I know that he's in the game, I am going to avoid him. I know that sucks, but this is the premise that if you want to do well at this game, you've got to know who are using that environmental condition that kind of messes you up. So I know Dan27 is very likely using controller. He's using a GEC all the time. He's using an armor tanked, I think, Galante assault, and he uses damage bond. So he is environmentally very damaging to a scout. And what you then have to do is just understand that you have to avoid that person. So you're becoming a kind of periphery skirmisher, which is kind of what I think was intended for the scout all along. And I'm finding that this tactic is working well. So instead of just running headlong and doing my clever stuff like strafing, jumping, and whatever, trying to kill anybody, you just get that acceptance that, oh look, if there's somebody coming around the corner that has got, it used to be heavy suits. If you saw a heavy with a heavy machine gun and a scout, you ran the other way. Well, I did. But now it's pretty much, if you see an assault suit with a GEC, if you see that assault rifle and if you see the GEC, and particularly if you see the name, you just avoid them. And I know that's so crazy, but the reality is this is working really well for me lately, because whereas before I was maybe going 20 and 10, I'm now going 20 and 2 with the scout suit. And that's pretty good, because I think the reality is you're just keeping the hell away from people who are quite dangerous. And I think that's not the majority of the tactic, that's just part of it. You also need to do some kind of clever thinking as well. So a lot of the time, you're going to run guns that are kind of designed for scouts, so flintlock, shotgun, etc. And I know people have this real kind of weird negative thing about scouts with assault rifles, but running a scrambler rifle or an assault rifle on a scout suit makes a bit of sense. Plus, it's also your ability to use the controls as well. So, generally I found myself more often than not using aim assist and using the controller because, well, you kind of got to. If you don't, then you're massively gimped. I mean, I know a lot of people are out there kind of, beating their chest, their hairy alpha male chest and saying, not me, I'm pro. Well, good, all power to you, because I think the reality is that if you go into a battle using the mouse and keyboard, you're automatically gimped compared to somebody with a controller. And this is just proved by anybody with an assault rifle or a scrambler rifle and a controller running around the corner and seeing you. They just have to kind of wave the gun in your general direction and pull the trigger, and the game will do the rest for them. Now, if you're using a mouse and keyboard like I am in this video right now, you have to have that skill to kill. Skill to kill, we'll call that the video. But in essence, that's kind of the problem, because most of the time the controller and the aim assist is better than your immediate twitch reaction to the game. So, I know I'm not kind of summarizing or solving anything here, but I just want you to kind of understand that the reality here is that the game has changed. It's not going to change back anytime soon, and even in the next patch, they're not really going to change too much, because I hate to say it, but this is fixed. This is what it should be like. So, if you do the calculation, assault rifle fires, 10 bullets every second, maybe? No, let's say 5 bullets a second, something like that. That each of those bullets is doing 30 damage, or 40 damage, or whatever it is, but it's doing like 25, 30 damage, possibly. Now, if you get a headshot with that, it's double, whatever. So, already you can see that within a second, you're doing 150 to, God knows how many more, damage. You could be doing, wrecking damage within a split second. So this is the problem. Now, that's just the base. If you add on then the damage mods and all that, then you've got kind of a problem. Right there. Just very quickly, notice Sorry Wrong Chat, he's using his Thales. Sorry Wrong Chat is a gentleman who I should be quite complimentary to, because he's playing a long time, but seriously all he does is snipe. For 2 years I've just watched him snipe, and it's getting really annoying. So I actually said to the gang, and I do this a lot, if you ever gang with me you'll know I do this, I said, right, whoever kills Sorry Wrong Chat, and there we go, gets a million ISK from me. So deep as fact, just won a million ISK. And yeah, so anyway, I digress. But I think the challenge at the moment is, certain things that worked before don't work now, and I think as long as you can kind of just have that understanding that, there are going to be people in the game who are using every single, trait to their advantage. It's like people who play Terraria or, I guess, World of Warcraft or even Eve. They will use every single skill to its max, every single module to its max. They'll fit the thing perfectly so that they milk every single benefit from the suit and the gun. And those are the people, unfortunately, that you probably have to be very aware of, because they are usually the ones that are going 30 and 2. And I think this is kind of part of the new way of Dust, is just playing a bit smarter. And I don't mean that in a trolly way. I just mean it in a way that, sometimes the person who gets the highest score is probably the one who's using the most beardy fit. The one that actually gets the most celebrated score, so maybe 10 and 0, is probably the person who's thinking the most. And I think it's better to be the person that thinks the most rather than the person that just throws grenades and runs a Galactic assault suit with damage mods, armor plates, and a GEC. Anyway, there we go. So to be honest, we'll see how it goes, but I think hopefully we'll see this develop in 1.7. I hope you enjoyed that. See you next time.